Guten Abend, as the little dwarf said at RRD, die Reinstallation. Right, what are we doing today? We're going to fit a new brake rotor and new brake pads. Why brake pads as well? Because it's new. Don't mix old, new. New. Old, new. Yeah. Doesn't make sense, but who cares? Right, tools we need. Socket set to remove the wheel, as well as all the bolts and nuts that hold everything together. A torque wrench to affix the rotor, and a bigger torque wrench for the wheel, pipe, tourney. I'm getting too old for this. Next, Loctite 243, very important. Some grease for the axle. Axle, that's what I was. Good one, Grandpa. And brake cleaner. Oh, and of course a rag to wipe everything off. Some gloves if you have sensitive skin. Yeah. Right. Couple of tips before we start. This tip is straight from the KTM manual. It says, before even doing anything, thank you very much for buying our bicycle. I think I got the wrong manual there. Okay, never mind. Now, as you know, pushing these things back to make everything fit is notoriously difficult. You usually have to use both hands, a lot of masturbation power, finger power. Yeah, there is an easier way. You grab this disc and you grab the brake caliper and you push. And they will reset themselves. Please bear in mind, when you do this, please open this cap, put some cloth around it, because you will be resetting the pistons, and this will raise the fluid level and it will spill out. If the cap's on, pressure is going to be fighting against you. Little tip on the side. Also, if you're pedantic or you don't trust your handiwork, this might be a good time to borrow your wife, girlfriend's, or your own, what is that? Nail lacquer, whatever you put on your fingernails. Fingernail lacquer, yeah. Ask the females, they'll know what I'm talking about. But basically, when you tighten everything down, torque wrench it, just put a dab of paint here, like the dealer has done. Inspect it after you went for a ride, testing it, and you'll see if the paint or the stripe has moved a little. That one you didn't tension correctly. Remove, do it again, dumbass. Anything else? I suppose there's one little tip. When you take out the axle and you move the wheel forward, you can actually take the chain and put it here. This is actually a chain holster or something. I don't know. I don't make this shit up. Regardless. Okay, we're going to start loosening the axle nut, punching the axle out. Let's see how it goes. One last tip. Make sure the wheel, if it's on the table you're working with, make sure it's raised. Put a couple of bricks underneath it. Don't let anything, we're going to exert a little bit of pressure. You don't want anything getting crushed, the usual stuff. Little tip. And here's the result. I did not need any special tools. I just pressed it against the brake. Didn't even take a lot of pressure. Okay, so let's make this look professional. Apparently, you're just supposed to remove this cotter pin. You owe me money. Okay. Do you owe me money as well? Last chance. Yeah, that's what I thought. Not so tough now, are you? Alright, and then you push this out. Surprisingly simple for KTM. Mazel tov. Twins. Yeah, still have enough meat left on it, but yeah. Keep them. Sell the bike. Ooh. This one's got, I don't even wear. Okay. Regardless, there you go. what I would suggest you do, take a bit of brake cleaner or just clean that up before you put the new pads in. Also, while we're on the topic, the new pads, leave them in the packaging until you are ready to install. Remember, you're dealing with brakes. These things are there to stop you. Any sort of foreign contaminant, grease, anything you get on the pads, it's going to be a nasty wake-up call. So, let's clean this up, put the pads in. Bit of an oddity. Why is there only one of these little metal plates? Little tip. Check this pin. Make sure the caliper moves easily. If it does not, strip this thing, clean it, and put silicone grease. Silicone grease. Remember? Silicone grease will not eat the rubber. Thanks, Chris Fix, for that. And there we go. Fitted. Very easy to do, actually. Cotter pins are all the same, so don't worry about mixing these up. Feed the pipe through. Once it's there, put a cotter pin in, and you can rotate it accordingly. Because if the hole doesn't line up, just move it backwards, forwards, so you can put the other one in as well. And that was it. Very straightforward. Not even finicky. I could use my big hands on this job with ease. Already looks pretty damn good. Okay, on to the brake rotor. And now to the heart of the matter. I've put the wheel up on 2 flammable liquid containers. Good thing I don't smoke. And now we're going to loosen these bolts. They're 8 millimeters. This one's very loose already. Ta-da! These things are supposed to be tightened down with 14 Newton meters of torque. What I just loosened here was never there. So I'm guessing the dealer over-tightened these. It's a bloody pain in the backside. Alright, give that a clean. And come to Papa, slowly. That's all that's stopping you. That's it. 6 little bolts. Crazy. Now, for those of you who are going to comment that this rotor is nearly brand new, what the hell are you doing, waste of money, yada yada yada. Look, in part, I'm changing this A, because I'm going on a trip, so I thought put new brake pads on, it's an experience, make a video of it. And B, a friend of mine, he bought himself a KTM 1190 Adventure R, and the rear rotor has, well, see all these, how does one say, crushed washers? Well, basically they're loose, so every time he rides the bike it goes rattle, 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 rattle. And that's not good. I wouldn't trust that rotor with my life, let's be honest. So what I told him, I got a second-hand brake rotor for him. Ta-da! And I won't even charge him much. Coming to a quick topic of brand. This is Galfa OEM. The pads were Brembo. Fun little Italian company, not very well known, so a bit expensive in that regard. Yeah. Galfa, look, personally, the rear brake is not where all the braking action happens, so you've got a little bit of leeway. You can put pretty much any brand. You could put Brembos on here, EBC, Galfers. That's really up to you and your price point of view. You can even go with a fancy wave design, like old school or MX. But I would not recommend that you buy a no-name Chinese brand. Worst case scenario, it destroys your pads, it doesn't last long, it'll flex. Rather go with a name brand, even if it's made in China. Buy those no-name brand factories. Okay, we're going to change that. We're going to clean up the hub a bit. This hub, okay, needs a bit of cleaning, and you put a bit of grease on here as well. So, good thing we're doing this. Let's start. Information. Passen Sie auf, dass Sie rechtwinklige Muttern und Schrauben benutzen. Nehmen Sie das Rad vorsichtig ab. Drehen Sie es nicht um die eigene Achse. Bremsen nur für Fortgeschrittene. Willst du mich verarschen? Nee. Remember, kids, real men don't read manuals. Which way do you put it? Yeah. Writing side up, I think. And by the power of magnetism, stay. There you go. Comparison. Place. Put the speed disc on. This little ring actually tells your ABS sensor the speed of the rear wheel. Yours may look a little bit different because mine is not OEM. Mine is a modified version which actually tells the speed accurately. Check the old videos if you want to see about or learn about this stuff. But if you own a KTM, you should already know that, no, comrade, you're not going 200 kilometers an hour, you're actually just going 172. Don't believe me? Check. Right. Next. Before mounting, make sure everything is clean. You can don't worry about cleanliness of the pad, the rotor just yet. We'll deal with that shortly. The bolts, you put these in. Use Loctite 243, not 242, 243. Use a torque wrench, 14 Newton meters. Capiche? All right, let's go. Hey, did you see the latest episode of Game of Thrones? Crazy, huh? They just threw that kid out of the window. Shit, I wonder how that goes on. What's tomorrow? Dallas. Yeah, we're going to find out who shot JR. God bless our South African TV channels for being always on par with the Hollywood release dates. Oh, and next week we're going to find out who Cartman's father is? Oh, shit, I wonder who it is. Oh. Right, back to the task at hand. Screws have been inserted, Loctite at 243. And now, kids, remember, don't go like this. Go always like a star, you know. Like you're actually, yeah, this is a Star of David, not a pentagram. Get it right, emo. Cool. And now for the most difficult part. For those of you who don't own an 1190 product range, getting the bike axle through this and in there is a pain in the ass. I can't give you any good tips. Best I can offer you is saying, get the rotor in here and then gently maneuver the stuff. I usually just put a bit of grease here to help it slide. It's just, the clearances are so tight, it's a pain in the ass. All right, while we've done that, axle shaft, grease it up, put a bit on the thread as per manual, and let's see if we can get this right the first time. Oh, before I forget, you're supposed to remove this thing when you're uninstalling any wheels, front or back. Obviously not the front when you're doing the back. This is the ABS sensor. If it gets damaged, it's quite expensive. But you're watching this video because, like me, you're lazy. So this is the only time I'm going to mention it. Lastly, before we install this thing, give it a wipe with brake cleaner. Make sure there are no contaminants that are going to adhere to your brake pads and give you reduced stopping distance. Safety first, kids. Here we go. And now we have to tighten the axle nut to exactly Newton meters of torque. And done. Easy enough. Ooh, sound. Cool. Don't forget to tighten the fluid container and give the pedal a couple of pumps. Yeah, brand new stuff. Safety warning, kids. I would say, until it beds in, well, the manual says the first 150 brakes, take it easy. I don't know if you need 150 brakes, but if you turn the ABS off and decelerate with the rear a little bit, leave a couple of exclamation marks on the road, I think that'll bed it in as well. But as you can see, I'm holding down the brake and I can still move the rear wheel. There is no bite yet. Just keep that in mind. Scary, actually. But hey, cool. There you go. All shiny and new. This is probably the first time something shiny is on my bike again. I only wash mine when it goes to the dealership because I buggered up something or something broke. So, not that often, actually. So, that was the install. New brake rotor, new brake pads. Very simple. The front, we'll do that in the near future. Till next time. Adios.